Build the system before you need the system. There's a common assumption in business and also in wealth building that systems are something that you add later. First, you start the business, then you start making money, and then you can grow your business. And that's when you add the systems. But that's when everything becomes complicated. And introducing systems when you've got chaos within your business makes it extremely difficult. And I believe that systems should be implemented before you need the system. Welcome. My name is Karen Newton. I am a business and wealth strategist. I help people build their wealth, build businesses, and I interpret markets. So welcome. And for my international friends and viewers out there, bonjour, hola, ni hao. And for my Kiwi family and friends who complain I don't forget Maori each time, kia ora. So let's look at some of the key points as to why I think you should build a system before you need the system. Systems aren't something you introduce after growth. Right? Systems are there to create a foundation, and that makes growth sustainable. So when you have a system, you know what you want a process to be. So if I say you're just starting a new business, that you're going to go out and you're going to market it on social media. What happens if someone wants more information? What happens if someone wants to buy from you? What happens if someone just wants to talk to you? What is the process that someone goes through to connect with you? And that is a system. Whatever you design it to be, it is a system. And it's only when you have that system in place that you can monitor it and you can say, yeah, my social media marketing is working. People are signing up. My conversion rate is such and such. Then when they sign up, moving them into sales. I lose so many people, I want to increase it. That happens when you have a system that you can follow through, you can monitor it, and you can find out how effective it is. So systems are something you build before you need them. Now, one of the misconceptions is that a system means technology or it means using AI. And it doesn't have to be that. When you first start a business, anybody can set a business up. And for less than a tenner, most people can get a business up and running online and start earning. So why do you need to spend money on technology until you get the business to a bigger level where the technology will actually support you and support the growth within the business? It's only once you've got the system in place that you can decide what needs to be automated and what could actually be chucked out. It's a waste of time having it there. That comes by having a system that you're testing, monitoring, tweaking, and getting ready to scale your business. Now, something that you will hear me talk about a lot is build before you borrow. Now, what I mean by building before you borrow is that it's all very well to say, I've seen people say, you're starting a new business. You need 10,000 to start this business. And you're going to need this, 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 and this. Well, you don't need it. You can start making money from day one without having to borrow anything, without spending money on any type of system or technology or anything like that. You can get a business up and running. What is a system, not an event? Right, so when we have a system in place, or building a business and building wealth. I'll go into this later, but they are interconnected. They both sit side by side. You need both to make them operate. When you have that system in place, long-term wealth is created through a lot of small, consistent actions. It's not created by doing one thing and saying, that's it, we've done that, hey presto. It needs a lot of repetition. It needs a system behind it. So for instance, you start an online business, you start money coming in, you take percentage of that money, or all of it, if you've got a good wage coming in the meantime, and you put that money into investing. You could put it into shares, for example. Then once you've got sufficient money in shares, you can use that as a deposit to go and buy a property. You have a process. And when you have that process, wealth grows. Unless you are doing absolutely everything wrong, if you have the system, then you can't go wrong. You make money because you have a business that's generating income for you. You have a wealth system that's generating income for you. They both work together. Hey presto, wealth's generated. Good systems reduce unnecessary decisions. So I've just said that we have a business. We want either a percentage of that income or ideally all of the income that we're generating from that business to put into our wealth strategy. If we get a tax rebate off our business, if we get an unusual inheritance or any nice little bonus or anything of that sort, then we have the system. We can follow through the system and say, this is what I'm doing with this. This is my decision for that. We don't have to sit down and think and panic and create chaos because we're not quite sure what we're doing. We follow the system. We build for the lifestyle that we actually want. Now, if you're someone who is happy working 60 hours a week or 70 hours a week, then go ahead and do it. That's fine. You can build a system that lets you work 4 hours a week. And if you are building that system as you go along, you don't need to work for 60 hours and then try and work out how you're going to reduce your hours. You have a system that grows as you grow, your business grows, and it still provides the freedom of time and is built around the lifestyle that you want. Systems should create flexibility, not rigidity. And what I mean by that is that if something unusual happens, you don't want a system that goes, I don't know how to cope with that, and everything grinds to a halt. You want a system that is flexible enough that you can add or subtract from it, and it still continues to operate. I remember one of the things that I used to do is quality management. And I would go into businesses and help them get their qualification, get their certification for ISO 9001 systems. Many of the processes that were there, I would say to them, why have you got that? Why do you have that? What happens if that's wrong? And it would grind everything to a halt. And it shouldn't grind your business to a halt because of one little anomaly that occurs. There should be flexibility within the system to allow the system to keep running and allow you the opportunity to alter something, increase something, take it away, whatever you want to do. Finally, I want to mention about this connectivity between business and wealth. I know a lot of people out there, they talk about business and business is business. They talk about wealth and wealth is wealth. For me, you have a business because you want to create wealth. So the system I operate, okay, that's the easiest way to talk about it. My business generates income. The income from my business goes into my investments. And my investment strategy is there are four types, well, it's five types of investments. You have business, you have digital assets, you have property, you have commodities, and you have IP. So the business generates the income. The income goes into the shares. As the shares grow and they're reinvested and you're earning your dividends, the growth in the shares can give you the deposit or the cash to buy a property outright. You've got your portfolio going, you've got income coming in. You then protect everything with the commodities, and then IP is your bonus. That's your intellectual property. So for me, and for the system that I operate, business and wealth cannot operate separately. They are connected. And for me, if you want to grow wealth, then you have to have a source of income. And that source of income is your business. And by doing that, you create better financial choices. So you're not thinking, oh, my wages were down this week, I can't put as much into my investments. Or my business didn't make this much, so I can't do this. My investments aren't generating for me, I'm going to close that down and do something else. When you have the system, you make sure every step of that system is working and generating the wealth for you. Not separate systems, everything is interconnected. So you build a system, you trust the system, and let the system do its job. Thank you for listening. As usual, the links to anything that I've been talking about today are in the comment in the section below, the description below. Thank you for listening. If this is of help to anybody else, then please share, like, and whatever you're doing, and let's get the message out there. Build the system before you need the system.
Disclaimer. The information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice and should not be construed as such. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and the strategies discussed are based on personal experience and general market knowledge. Always do your own research and consider your individual financial goals, risk tolerance, and personal circumstances before making any investment decisions. I strongly recommend that you consult with a qualified financial advisor or licensed professional before acting on any information discussed in this podcast. Investing involves risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. By listening to this podcast, you agree that the host and associated entities are not responsible for any losses or damages arising from the use of this content.